Thank you, David, Wire team, for having me here. So intimidating, going after the drones. And before lunch, very, very intimidating, got to tell you guys. But bear with me. I don't have many PowerPoint slides. It's just my story of how Mydala essentially has grown to be in 209 cities. We're a marketing platform that helps local businesses. And we take them from the offline environment and take them online and on mobile. And how we've done this, when everybody had written our obituary, we actually managed to scale past that and grow this to what we're hoping will be at some point 1,500 cities, but we're in 209 cities. Before I get started, I want to get started with a story. I believe this, I justify it. My bank account says on the savings part, but it's also about a story. In 2008, I went to the Taj Hotel in Goa. Great way to clear your mind. If you haven't been to Goa, you should go. And while I was there, the general manager walked up, and as we were checking out, he said, you know what? We're comping your meals, a couple of your meals, because you've been such a great customer. I was like, wow, this is genius. After that, I've been a Taj regular. I always go to the Taj Goa. It's been an annual thing. For the $200 of comping that he did that time, he's got 40-fold from me or much more than that. And I've become very, very loyal to the Taj group of hotels. So in 2009, Mydala is my second company. In 2009, I was sitting in New York City wondering what the hell am I going to do with my life, because my first company didn't need me, much as I tried to be needy about it. And I said, well, India has such great potential. It was home. It was, the excitement and buzz was around China, India. 70% of India's population is under the age 35. It's one of the fastest growing retail economies. It is now going to surpass the US in terms of smartphone penetration by 2017. So very exciting stuff happening, and I said, I want to be a part of this. I was sitting with a friend who owns a restaurant, and I said, you know, how are you guys marketing yourself? Said, no, when the customers come in when they want to. Said, there must be a better way. He's like, yeah, well, there's only newspaper and radio, and that requires money up front. And so when the customers come in, or we do flyers or text-based messaging. I just thought that was very, very bizarre, because, and I said, well, what about, you know, you're seeing the Starbucks and everything, everybody's doing very cool stuff. This is in 2009. He said, yeah, but, you know, we don't know how to get there. We want to be able to reach a wider audience. We just don't know how to do that. We don't know how to take that leap. So we knew we were onto something here. And though we started as what is a daily deals business in India, and we only did it for the excitement where, you know, Indians love their savings. They will do anything about it. We knew very quickly that the merchants needed a marketing platform that would help them and help them essentially build loyalty for users. So we've essentially built that out for them. And how we've done this is we've actually crunched numbers. So in 2011, what ended up happening was when the daily deals started slowly peaking, Mydala had raised very limited funding. We knew we had to get creative. Sorry, this was back in 2010. And we knew that this was not a viable model. We were building a marketing platform, but there were all these daily deal sites. We had 52 competitors that were doing very similar stuff to us on the front end of it. And we knew that we had to do something that was very creative. So we started looking at India in general and saying, what is really prevalent here? Now, India, very unlike the US, very unlike UK, has leapfrog technologies. So nobody's actually, oddly enough, actually been on you know, a computer. They went straight to the mobile. And so the more we talked to users and merchants, it became very clear to us we needed to be on mobile. In 2010, before anybody else in India was talking mobile, we knew we were going to get there. But then it added another problem. There are only 35 million credit card users in India and 1.2 billion is the population. So we clearly were, going after a very small piece of the pie, and we said, we really need to reach a larger audience. A business that wants to scale and get to pan-India and help businesses all across India cannot be actually looking at just 35 million users. And so we did something that was very different. And I think this goes for all retailers. I said this earlier. I think each business, it's very personal. You have to see what matches with your users and your consumers and go with that. So we actually went and did what was completely different. We took a model out of Africa and we went with telecom billing. And we said, we're going to do mobile carrier billing and see how this goes for us. And it went phenomenally well. We actually ended up having conversion rates on the mobile from 3% to 28%. It suddenly opened up markets. We were in 36 cities. We went from 36 cities to 112 and to now 209 cities. So it completely opened up all of India for us. In India, the rural market or the non-tier 1 market actually has the biggest potential. Suddenly, we were getting users from everywhere across India logging onto the Mydala network. We also, at that point, got approached by the carriers. Vodafone, Airtel, everybody started talking to us and said, you know what, this looks interesting. It's so hyper-local, your business, and what you're doing for retailers, maybe there's something that we can do here where we could be adding value to our users. We said, yeah, let us come back to you and let you understand your users better. Why don't we start doing location-based marketing for your users in a very personalized format? It worked out really well. We started with Vodafone. We now work with all carriers in terms of doing couponing for them. What this does for us on a big scale is it has opened data for us. It's opened an audience of 900 million people across India. It's opened data for us where we've crunched it to the point where I can tell you that a small city like Surat, which is in Gujarat, likes to eat pizza on a Wednesday at this particular price point. It's also told us that we have access to about 400 million people monthly that we can reach. The Mydala platform has 50 million monthly active unique monthly active users that come on. So it's really changed everything for us. On the back end, the data has made a big difference. So it became very obvious to us that it could not be a spray and pray approach. It had to be very customized because we were dealing with a very, very small screen. And so since we were doing that, it had to be extremely, extremely tailored. What we ended up doing was we started crunching data to the hilt. Not only did we do this on a macro level where we can tell what city or what locality likes to eat what at what time, we also started doing this on a micro level. So I could tell you if David, the minute he comes in, logs onto the network, that he likes to surf from this particular zone, and usually he will buy something at this particular price point. But on Fridays, he tends to be more generous in terms of buying a pizza, but on Monday, he's very stingy and would like to buy something very limited. So all this data has been crunched, and it'll tell discretionary spends that a user does. So it's very different from where we started out to where we've evolved in terms of a marketing platform. There was another interesting thing we've done, which is we looked at so we raised very little money initially. And so we knew that because we had all these Groupon-like clones, some that had raised money, much more money than us, and we had to survive, we said, what is it that we're going to do differently? Now, this might not match too much to the UK environment, but I want to tell you guys this because we actually backtracked and said, what is it that resonates with the users in India? And we came up with 3 things, and that was the ABC. Astrology, Bollywood, and cricket. These 3 things, we said, really work. People will not get married if their astrology dates don't work for them. People will lose business money and launch their business 15 days late if the dates don't work for it, or your pundit tells you that it doesn't work. So we said, okay, let's start doing astrology deals. and go back and get all. Now, this was just a pull in terms of getting more users. But we really looked at what just resonates with the users. Oddly enough, we started Bollywood, and when we did the first movie, we didn't know what we were doing with them. And they said, what are you going to do with us? I said, we don't know, but we could do something exciting. We ended up connecting them to the offline merchants, and we ended up making a game in certain cities for them. They loved it. I'm not sure how many of you have heard of Shah Rukh Khan. He has godlike status in India. He's one of the most popular actors. And what this ended up doing for us was Shah Rukh Khan ended up promoting Mydala free of charge. And after that, we've had pretty much every Bollywood actor promote Mydala every time they promote a movie. We work with all production houses, and we do their online marketing for them. And we're pretty much the de facto that they come to for that. Cricketers, again, I know cricket is big here, but it's not as big in India as is in India. People actually worship cricketers. Like, seriously, I'm not making this up. We have them on the demigod status. So we ended up doing a lot of stuff for the users where we started doing, just to pull them in again, cricket matches. Now, this has nothing to do with in terms of offline retail, but it was so much of user interest and buzz that we created that we ended up getting, where we sit today is we have 36 million customers. 29 of them are profiled to the hilt, where we can tell, we have 23 parameters that we profile our users on, and that's what we've done over the time of Mydala. And that's where we are, essentially. Some facts. We sell 17 coupons every second. What we've noticed, oddly enough, is we've seen that the online players who have spent so much money in India, the e-commerce players, they've been literally throwing money. There is no loyalty. We've written 5% discount. It's actually as low as 3%, that the loyalty just switches. We've also noticed that people with the highest discretionary spend tend to buy a lot of the coupons. So my point is, I think we're all dealing with users from many facets. Our customers, I think we're at an interesting time. We should give ourselves a pat on the back, because it's literally offline, online, mobile. There are so many screens that we're dealing with. And I think these are exciting times for all of us. Drone technology, AI, there's so much that we've got to do, so many places to go. For us, what we've noticed and what has worked for us is essentially mobile and data. We believe that mobile will be the key, at least for the next 5 years. It'll be something that, there's a stat essentially that says you sleep with your mobile more than you sleep with your partner. We believe that it is going to be something that is the most essential thing to identify with. Thank you.
Nisha, give some advice to retailers here who want to crack the Indian market.
Ooh. It's an interesting market. Is that a good choice of word on there? If you visited India, you'll know it's contradictions on many levels. It's good to go with a partner, if you can, a business partner who understands the market, or really get there and understand the market. Uber presented before this, and we've done marketing for Uber when they launched in India. It's a tough market to crack because of the regulations and everything. I know Mr. Modi was in here, Prime Minister, talking about it, and he's going to make it easier. So there's a lot of potential. I think people who've done well are doing phenomenally well once you understand the market. It's good to go in with a local partner if you can.
So the smartphone penetration curve is still growing quite steeply. We're not there yet. Do you think any business operating in India needs to be smartphone first, or is that going to be a year away? We've
had a couple of e-commerce companies that did this. They went smartphone first. I do not believe this. I'll tell you why, because we work with a lot of the telecoms. And though it's, I think it's an important part of your strategy if you're in India. I think it's an important part of your strategy no matter where you are. But the data users in India are still 180 million. So people use smartphones, but for calling. And so we're still, you know, if you want to hit the entire smartphone market, there's still, I think, a couple of years to go.
Now, you've been running Mydala for now 6 years, and you've seen a lot of change in India.
Does it feel like that?
So
time flies when you're having fun.
If you were launching a new business now for the Indian market, where you see a massive growth opportunity, what kind of business would it be?
Oh, wow, Duffy. Wow. I don't know. I haven't thought about this. I'm so entrenched in what I'm doing. You know, it's interesting. Maybe I'm a naysayer. There's a lot of stuff that's happening around e-commerce and everything. I think logistics is very exciting. Okay, I really think logistics is that is why I was very excited to listen to the last 3 companies that came on. So I believe that any business should be solving a need, and that's where success comes. And I think if I were to start another company, it would probably be somewhere, again, in the logistics side of it. I'm not sure about the drone stuff because I'm not that tech savvy. But I would be doing something cool in terms of easing that pain.
And last question, let's say the people who don't want to go into the Indian market but want to learn from your experience of dealing with the Indian market. Are there any lessons you've learned that you think could be more widely applicable to the European commerce business?
So I think understanding your user is across the board. It's got nothing to do with, Mydala was slated to die. I know that. You know, we had a lot of people call us and say, are you still around? That's really scary. We thought you were dead. So we were slated to die. And the fact was, the only thing that saved us was we actually understood the user and the merchant. And this is, so many times we get so busy about acquiring new users that we forget that our biggest champions are the people who've already bought from us. It's really scary, and I'm seeing a lot of the e-commerce companies in India do this. They're in this race for acquiring users, but the retention is so much more important. So I think if you just understand the user, it doesn't have to be the coolest new technology that, you know, is going to get you to your user. I keep talking about it's not where you go, it's what you do when you get there. And it could be that mobile is the place to go. It could be that mobile is just one of your strategies, but not the most important because your users aren't there.
Well, thank you for making the journey to join us. Anisha Singh.
Thank you. Thank you.